Zhunk, beep, beep. Hey, what up there? Welcome back to part 2 now of the Top Gun episode. We didn't get to much Top Gun stuff because we had to talk to God himself, Mr. Brian Matuszack, who will be playing God up on stage here in the coming weekend. Amazing show called Act of God. Wow, was it funny. I got to see it last weekend, so go out and check that out if you get the chance. Now we're going to shift focus and get back to the flick of the week here, which is indeed Top Gun. A couple reasons that Top Gun was chosen here. It is back in theaters to celebrate its 40th anniversary. 40th. 1986 that thing came out. Crazy. And then also Top Gun Maverick is back in theaters as well, and that's to celebrate, yes, the 40th anniversary and the fact that it is Memorial Day and just the fact that Tom Cruise is amazing in general. So I thought, why not Top Gun? So before I get into the movie itself, let me tell you a little bit about this. So growing up, I didn't know that Top Gun was a movie. Can you believe that? Like, think about that for a minute. Growing up, I didn't know anything about Top Gun. I thought Top Gun was a video game. Did not know it was a classic 80s action film. So, let me fill you in on that a little bit. So, Christmas, 5 years old, us three Rasmussen boys, we all got handheld video games for Christmas. So, I got Altered Beast, this handheld tiger game. Loved this game. This was like my favorite thing ever. Played this to death. I was terrible at it, but I loved it. This was fun. It had monsters in it. Oh, it was great. Loved this game. My middle brother, he got Batman, the handheld game. Another tiger game. It was amazing. Played that one as well. It was fine. I liked Altered Beast a little bit more. But then my oldest brother got this game for Christmas. Top Gun, the handheld game. And that was my window into Top Gun. As a child, I just thought it was a handheld game. Had no idea it was a movie. We didn't have a lot of access to movies at the time. We didn't have cable. We didn't have, there were no rentals or things like that. There was no pay-per-view in the late 80s for us. It was just, you know what you know. And we only had a few movies that were recorded off of the TV. Ghostbusters was one of them. So I knew Ghostbusters. I knew of that. And certain other properties that needed to introduce themselves to me as I grew up a little bit more. And eventually we discovered like our local library, and we were able to get into there. And then we were able to fill ourselves with that kind of culture. But they didn't have a copy of Top Gun there. So it took a while before I was able to actually see Top Gun and find out that Top Gun was indeed a movie, not just a handheld game. I also have here Top Gun, two different NES games. There's a Top Gun and a Top Gun 2 that came out. And then I don't know if you can see here, I have the Game Boy game of Top Gun as well. And then there's the DVD. And then I also, a couple other props I brought in here. I brought in two different air vehicles that are from the real Ghostbusters line, because Ghostbusters is important today as well. And then I figured I'd bring in the Happy Meal boxes as well. I've been watching the new Stranger Things show, the animated show, Tales from '85. And then I've got the collector cups there from Grogu as well. The Star Wars, Mandalorian, and Grogu, of course, is number one at the box office, and that's what the anchors wanted to talk about a little bit this morning, so I thought that was fitting. So those are the props and the toys for today. Anyway, it took a while before I figured out that Top Gun was a movie, and I watched it back in the day enough. I watched chunks of it enough to get a feel for what it was. It was fine. Not my standard thing. I preferred, the scary movies and the comedies growing up. But it is just a slice of 80s Americana that you must watch. It's kind of a rite of passage if you're going to enjoy that trip into the 80s cinema. So it was great. I enjoyed it when I finally got the chance to see it. And you got all those amazing songs in there. You have that amazing theme that kicks off, and then you have The Danger Zone, written by Kenny Loggins, which I always thought it was weird that it's Highway to the Danger Zone. What highway are we discussing? Because they're flying the whole time. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's a great song. I'm not going to throw shade at that particular song. Great song, Kenny Loggins. Little sidebar. It's a little early to be talking about Top Gun 2, but I just want to get this little thought out before I forget. So Kenny Loggins, not only did he write Danger Zone for Top Gun, he wrote a new Danger Zone song for Top Gun 2. Yes, he re-recorded Danger Zone, submitted it to Tom Cruise, and for whatever reason, it was not used. It was used in the opening titles, the same Danger Zone song. And I'm trying to figure out, well, I think it's to lean into the nostalgia, right? That's my guess. Because Top Gun 2 is all about the nostalgia. And it does a good job with... Maverick, you're too old for this kind of stuff. Your time is coming past, and all these sorts of things, and you're not like you were in the '80s anymore. That kind of stuff. And there are some really good nostalgia beats that they hit upon in Top Gun Maverick. There's even the aircraft, the ancient aircraft that he runs into, and he has to find a way to jumpstart that thing and save the day. Wow, I'm really going off on part 2 here. Let's get back to 1. Top Gun 1. It's a great movie. Tom Cruise, you got Iceman in this. You have Val Kilmer. Who does not love Val Kilmer? And he does a really good job of playing a jerk in this movie. I loathed that character at first. But they did the great thing that they needed to do, and at the end, Iceman winds up becoming friends with Maverick. How fun. How fun. Here, let me just show you a quick thing before I forget as well. Da-da-da, joink. So, this is an Iceman impersonator that came onto our morning show, I think a couple of years ago. Every year when the air show is in town, we get Top Gun impersonators that come in. And apparently we've had a Tom Cruise guy around town, and we've tried to book him, I guess. I don't know. It seems like it's never worked because I've worked those shows. I've never seen Tom Cruise come into the studio before. But this guy, I've seen this guy. He is a very good rendition of Iceman. Yeah, looking good. Okay, gonna go back to camera. Joink. I just had that lying around. That popped up in my memories, so I was like, you know what? I'll just throw that on the show real quick. So, back to Top Gun. Great movie. What more is there to say about it? The cinematography is great. Jerry Bruckheimer, it's top-notch stuff. It is top-notch stuff. Even though, this isn't exactly my kind of movie, it is still enjoyable and is fun. It's just well done, and you kind of have to watch it if you want to fulfill your 80s movies card, right? So, that could have just been the end of Top Gun, right there. Just the first movie. It didn't become a bigger franchise. There's no animated series or, sprawling media empire that is Top Gun. There's just the games, and, as I said, that's how I was turned on to this property. And it could have just been that. But Tom Cruise decided to turn it into a sequel, and I'm glad he did, for many reasons. First of all, Top Gun Maverick is very well done. A lot of people say it's better than the original, and I might have to agree with this because it is so polished and so well done, and just the pacing of the editing is so perfect. It's just an amazing, fun thing to watch. And again, it's not my kind of movie, and I didn't think I'd really get into it, but it grabs you, and you love the characters, and you actually care about what's happening. even though, like, Maverick is just, you know, he gets lured back into Top Gun. You know the story. He's lured back into Top Gun, and he has to instruct this new hotshot set of recruits. Rooster. We got to get into the whole Rooster thing. And Goose, talk to me, Goose. Of course, that was a heartbreaking thing from part one where his buddy Goose dies. So that carries over into the sequel, and he has to try to come to terms with that. Nearly 40 years later, it's still a factor in his life. It was closer to 30-ish in the timeline they're representing here. Because Goose's son is there, and it's Rooster. And there's a whole back and forth. There's a whole backstory between those two, and it's a fun thing to watch. And I have to also mention Jennifer Connelly is in Top Gun Maverick. What amazing casting she is. Not only was she perfect for what it was, she also is there for nostalgia's sake, right? She wasn't in part one, but she was an 80s staple. She was in all kinds of amazing 80s properties, and having her in this, it felt right. It just felt like, hey, that's our piece of the 80s that is aging, but aging beautifully, really. So everything about this movie was just fun. Even the whole, it got a little convoluted there with their whole mission. That's another thing I really liked about Maverick was they weren't just training the whole time. There was a goal. They had an actual mission with actual stakes this time. And it was a Star Wars-esque mission. It was it's like a suicide mission. There's a little hatch. You have to shoot and blow that thing up, and then it'll take this whole thing out. And it was a very exciting mission to watch. This undisclosed country, wherever it took place. So that was just an all-around fun movie. And that's Top Gun Maverick. So we're gonna look into the future here because they've already announced Top Gun 3. So what is Top Gun 3 going to be? Who knows? I'm sure they'll lean more into the whole, you have to retire Maverick. Maybe he's already retired at the start of it, and they have to pull him back in for one big final mission. Seems like the kind of thing they do. That's your typical 80s plot line there, like they did with Rambo. Like, oh, don't do that stuff anymore. I could see that exact thing happening with Maverick here. You know what? I got to rewind real quick. I skipped over the whole Val Kilmer part in Maverick. Wow. Getting Val Kilmer for one of his final on-screen appearances. Wow. They really handled it well. They handled it with class. They showed him respect. They showed his character respect. I love that those two had become friends and maintained a friendship throughout, this timeline. And that was just good to see. Good on them for handling Val Kilmer well. Say what you will about the Val Kilmer AI movie thing that's just coming out. I'm hearing a lot of hoopla about it. I get it. We'll see what happens when it comes out. Anyway, Val Kilmer, great. Liked him as Batman as well. He's no Michael Keaton, but he was a good Batman. All around, just love Val Kilmer. Wasn't there one other little thing I wanted to mention? I thought there was some other little point I wanted to bring up about Maverick. Glenn Powell's in it. Yeah, it's good. Oh, the opening sequence, I think, because it's a very similar opening sequence to the first one. It's almost exactly the same, just with more modern techniques. And I think watching the opening sequence of Maverick versus the original, it kind of sets the stage as this is nostalgia, but it's new, and it's more well-polished. And that is basically what this movie is. It's way more well-polished than the original, and it's just so perfectly cut together. And it has that amazing song again, Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins. I want to hear what this new version was. I haven't checked to see if it's been leaked anywhere, but it would be cool if they use that in the third one. So those are my predictions and hopes and thoughts for Top Gun 3. I'm sure it'll be a while before Top Gun 3 comes out. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because I know Tom Cruise is done with the whole Mission Impossible franchise. I'm sure doing 8 of these movies is not doing his body any favors. So something like Top Gun is a little less physically involved, so I get it. I just hope it's as good as the other ones. So those are my hopes for Top Gun 3. Anyway, that's kind of it for this. It's a short franchise, and I got to get out to... Actually, I have to cut it short for this particular reason. I'm going to be in the Memorial Day Parade today. It starts at 12:30 in West Duluth there. I'll be marching with my fellow Busters, the Ghostbusters. You might have noticed the Ghostbusters patches here. It's a little Top Gun-esque, a little Ghostbustery as well. I brought in the Proton Pack and all the things for it today. I'm going to head right over to the parade from here. And it's our first big kickoff event of the year. And we'll be there. We always collect donations for the Ronald McDonald House. We'll have the car, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, all the stuff. And that's usually our first big announcement event of the year. So very excited for that. It's going to be a warm one out there. So I guess bring sunscreen with you. I'm told we're going to need sunscreen today. That's a refreshing thing to hear for how cold and nasty it's been this year. So that's what's going on the rest of today. Let me tease ahead a little bit for what to expect next week. I have my Flick of the Week planned. Very, very excited for this one. It is another 80s movie. It's another 80s staple that is a much bigger name than Top Gun. And I already mentioned it a few times in this episode. This particular movie is coming back to theaters. So excited for that. In fact, my weekend plans are to go see it in the theater and figure out some shenanigans and some bits and stuff that can be implemented into the morning show for it. So very excited for that. And that's the plan for next week. So that is that. This is your Top Gun episode. So thanks for tuning into this. Thanks for listening to Brian Matuszack talk about how amazing he is, and go out and catch that show if you get the chance, if you don't have any weekend plans as well. An Act of God is playing this weekend at the Depot Theater. Amazing, incredible show. So, until next week, my friends, stay spooky.